The Minnesota State Fair version of Fox 9 Good Day. Lori Fisher leading the wave.
I love it. Doing the wave.
Okay, that was a full success. Nice work. Well, from mini donut beer to chocolate chip beer, you know, they're basically every flavor you can think of, they have it in beer here at the fair.
And there is actually a great spot where you can learn about craft beer brewed right here in Minnesota. Garden Guy Dale Kay is live. He's inside the Horticulture Building at the Brewed in Minnesota exhibit. And I'm sure you haven't sampled anything because it's early. You know, that's what a person would do who is, you know, reasonable. And
Wow.
Dale,
No.
so
You've heard that Australians like beer, right, Alex? You've heard that phrase before?
Never.
yeah, well, it is 5 o'clock in Australia, right?
Yeah, it's actually it's right about 11:37, so really close to noon back in Adelaide.
I thought I'd try.
But by jingos, by crikey, gardening is thirsty work. Gardening is extremely thirsty work, and I'm not the only one that thinks so, because look at all these little cardboard cutouts. They are ready for a busy day right here at the Minnesota Craft Brewers Guild. This is their tap room where kind of the end product starts. But there is a kind of a unique concept called farm-to-pint. Farm-to-pint. I kind of like that. Makes me feel better when I'm having a beer. To explain that concept this morning, joining us this morning, Bob Galligan from the Guild.
The Minnesota Craft Brewers Guild, yes. Welcome to Brewed in Minnesota.
And so what does that farm-to-pint kind of really mean?
Yeah,
Or
I
how's
mean,
that part of agriculture, I guess?
The whole exhibit is here to kind of celebrate the craft beer culture, but also kind of the foundations of it, which begin out in the field. You know, our friends at Brewer Supply Group and Raw Malting Company have supplied us with some malt here that has been malted just in Shakopee, Minnesota. It's one of the world's largest malt houses, so we're really, really lucky that we have really high quality brewing ingredients here in the state of Minnesota, and allows our craft brewers the ability to kind of experiment a little bit with all of their ingredients, but it's all quality. So.
And there's different types of, you know, there's hops and then barley, and that all plays into different flavors of beer.
110%. Barley tends to be kind of the backbone of beer. It gives it its sweetness and also a lot of its mouthfeel. Hops are going to give it a little bit of an accenture of kind of a juicy type character, a floral character. Kind of adds a little bit more of the actual flavor, but nothing can be done without the hops or the malts.
And say 20 years ago, how many breweries were there, or craft brewers, in the state of Minnesota?
So we are now 22 years old. Back when we were founded, it was probably, you're looking at about 10 breweries, craft breweries in the state of Minnesota. Nowadays, there's over 200. We represent over 170 breweries in the state of Minnesota. So.
And why the popularity? I mean, I guess, you know, buying local or drinking local?
Celebrating local definitely has a lot to do with it. I think it's also just kind of getting to know the person who's actually behind the product. You know, when you go into a tap room in the state of Minnesota, 9 times out of 10, there's going to be a brewer hanging out somewhere inside, or an owner, or somebody who can talk to you about the actual product and let you in on kind of the actual way that it's produced, what they use to produce it, and it's a little bit more of a stronger connection with those who are actually making the product. And I think that's kind of what the small tap room driven models definitely allow, is a little bit more interaction.
And this little map here, is that you can pick this up here, and that this kind of explains where your members are.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So it's also really, really nice. We have, you know, breweries all over the state. So way up north, down south, everywhere. It's now to the point where, according to the Brewers Association, I think it's 90% of people live within 10 miles of a local brewery, which is unheard of.
It looks like, Bob, that if I get thirsty on the Gunflint Trail, there is somebody. There's somebody close to.
You can stop somewhere when you're coming out of the boundary waters. There's a brewery for you. Yeah. So
it kind of stands to reason, because really Minnesota, or the Midwest, particularly Minnesota, Iowa, we really are the bread bowl for the whole country, and a lot of those key ingredients are really right here. So that makes probably brewing a lot easier. Some of the flights, or some of the brews that folks can taste here.
Yeah.
Take us on a little tour of the beer itself.
So we have 6 different pouring stations. So each pouring station is going to give you a different flight. This flight has friends from High Pines. It has their coconut cream ale. We have 9 Mile with their Goza. We have Legends.
We'll slow that down. Okay.
Sure.
This one here?
Yeah, that's the coconut cream ale from High Pines. So it's going to be, it's going to have a little bit of coconut, but because it's cream ale, it's going to be a little bit more of a chewier mouthfeel, but still really, really light.
Oh, that's good. Chewier. I like that. Okay, this one?
So that would be 9 Miles. That's a Goza. So actually, Gozas are going to be slightly sour. There might be a little bit of a salty component to it as well. It's the only style of beer where salt is actually allowed. It's a little bit puckering. Yep, for sure. It's supposed to be like the Gatorade of beer, pretty much. It's
yeah,
really
yeah. Okay,
hydrating
now,
and, it's a good after-workout beer for sure. Lawnmower beer.
Yeah, who needs Gatorade? I mean,
Yeah.
okay.
Absolutely.
This one?
So that is actually going to be Dayblock Citra. And Citra is a super, super popular hop. It's in a lot of IPAs, a lot of pale ales. Citra is going to give you a little bit of like almost like a berry type note to it. It's a little bit, it's sweet, but it has an earthiness to it as well.
Okay, I like that one. That one's
And
good.
finally we have Lakes and Legends. This is going to be a raspberry honey, so it's going to be definitely sweet, definitely a little bit of thicker mouthfeel from that honey, but it's going to have a really nice kind of sweetness from the raspberry note as well. And the whole idea behind the flights is you really get to try very, very different beers from very, very different producers from different parts of the state. So every single flight is going to be different, changes every single day. We have 450 beers from 90 different breweries here.
There you go. A taste of the Minnesota brewing industry right here at the State Fair. My pick is, I think I like this one.
The very first one, the
The very
coconut
first-
cream.
Yep, coconut cream. Back to you guys.
Ooh,
Bottoms up,
coconut
Dale.
cream.
Bottoms up.
He's worked hard for it.
Has he?
Not really.
He
I
rode
just
around
thought
on a
I'd make him feel better.
golf cart, got to eat some great free food, drink some beer. He's not working hard.
Yeah, well, you know what? But we'll give him a break today.
Living his best life. Yeah.